Welcome to Visual Studio Tools for MicroStation CONNECT Edition using the OpenPlant Modeler CONNECT Edition SDK by special request. In this example, I am going to create an HVAC duct. I'm going to go over this kind of quickly. So let's get started. I want to do a new project in Visual Studio 2015. I'm going to go to Bentley, MSCE add-ins, and OpenPlant add-in command. And I'm going to call this HVAC example. Now, if you're using OpenPlant and go to the references, you'll see your basic MicroStation assemblies, and you'll have the Bentley OpenPlant Modeler SDK. If we double click that, we can go to the object browser, and here you have all the namespaces associated with that assembly, the ones that we're going to use for this example, such as the HVAC rectangular or oval component, and so forth. So, but I'm going to go ahead and get started with the program. Now this is the program, the main program for the application. So when I'm going to create an item, go to Bentley, MSCE, code. First I want to show that you could do Windows Forms, classic Windows Forms, using a placement tool. So a tool settings form, you could do that here. A selection tool, to select align an object in OpenPlant. A Windows form, just a regular Windows form. In WPF you can do similar with the placement tool, but this using a WPF selection tool and a regular user control WPF. But in this example, I'm just going to do a code class. The only difference between this class and your typical Visual Studio C# class is that this is going to give you the opportunity to put it in the command table and bring in some using statements for you. Basic only difference. So I'm going to call this duct example and add. Now I can add an item to the keying commands, and you can see that here my duct example and the keying command, the keying handler. The command, that's the default one that comes in. We can go ahead and delete that. We're not going to use it. And I go to the keying commands.cs, which is mapped from the command table, and I can delete this command here. It's associated with that command. Keying. And this is what we're going to use here for this class. So I'm going to go there, and I'm going to create, actually just create 3 methods for this for this example. Okay, before I go any further, I should go to the Bentley namespaces. I have some automatically in here. I'm going to need to create the ones for the OpenPlant Modeler with those inside here. So I'm going to do some using statements. And this is kind of automatic. You do not have to create the project settings. That's automatic. And you can modify the project settings after you create, but no need. here. Okay, that should be all we need for this project. And normally I use I may use namespaces, but for these I am not in this example. Okay, I'm going to create a method to get a list of named item for the create unit and service. We'll be returning a list of named item when we're done. So okay, we just created a named item unit and a named item service. If they succeed, if they fail, we're gonna return null. If they succeed, we're gonna go ahead and go through and create a list of named items and add that unit and add a service, which have been defined here. And create the unit, create the service, and we are going to return that back. Okay, I'm going to save project. Now I'm going to prepare the HVAC. So I'm going to create a private method here. And that is actually going to be a bool. Okay, let's go ahead and create the place duct. And give it a specification. Just to point out, let's go up here. I have a namespace alias for the Bentley.geometry.net. So if I was to use this, I will use bg.d.3d for Bentley Geometry Net. But I'm going to go ahead and take that out just for this example to keep it consistent with the example. Not to get anybody confused. Now we know prepare for HVAC is Boolean, so testing for true value for that. Okay, I'm going to give it a component name. So give the duct length 2 times the duct length. That's Okay, and one more thing before we go over this. Duct example, keying commands. Duct example, place duct. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at this for a second. This is main width. This is main height. We got main. This should be width. This should be height. Okay. This is run height. This should be main height. Okay, let's go and see if this will debug. Now, like I said, you don't have to create any settings, nor do you have to attach this to OpenPlant Modeler. Go to the properties. When you created this is automatic. By default, it builds to the MDL apps path. Debug is automatically started to OpenPlant Modeler. Reference paths automatically set. So if you need additional references, all you have to do is go to add reference, go to the extensions. This is the first time you do this, might take a few moments to load. And then you have your Bentley assemblies here, this DGN display net, and so forth. So that's automatically set. Also note that if you add an assembly, the project settings is automatically set up to copy local to false. So if you add a reference to one of the assemblies, it will come in as copy local to false. This is actually protect so that if you load assemblies here, and if you forget to set it to false, it's going to load all those assemblies, that assembly plus more. It's going to dump everything into the MDL apps path. And then you have to go back and delete and so forth. So this is by default automatic. So in all the system from the global assembly cache is going to be false. If you're adding your own project from another project into here, it's going to be false as well. You need to change that to true if you do want it to be true. So we go and build this example. Okay, let's here. I got an equal sign. Let's try to build that again. Good. Success. So let's try to debug. The name is HVAC example. Go to Utilities, MDL Apps, Files. Alright, I'm going to change this to all files, and it's HVAC. So the HVAC example. And Keyens duct example. There you go. Now this, I took this from a delivered Bentley example, just to go over it to show you how I would do it in my tool, the Visual Studio tools for MicroStation CONNECT Edition. Let me go and let me undo all this. That's a yes. Now let me go back. To here, and let me put a breakpoint in. Just so that we can see that. Okay, now we're going to go into that again. Okay, so it into the breakpoint, and then I can debug. Through the entire process. So creating the duct, creating the elbow. There you go. So you go and close this, and you see that it's still in break mode. So I'm gonna, as I close here, so it broke into the project. So the unload event. Okay, so let me go through the example. Back to duct example. Make sure it's closed. Okay, I'm out. So I took this. I spent the weekend going over the SDK, going through the documentation, going through the examples. Found some issues with the examples, I think. I put one issue on the forum, so see if I get a response back. And as I'm doing something incorrect, so but I took this from the Bentley delivered KKS example. I believe the example 2 in that, but I wanted to show it here. Things I would have used maybe my namespace aliases, but like everybody else, I'll be learning the SDK itself. I'm using more into the MicroStation SDK and the OpenRoads SDK, but a person requested me to do one for OpenPlant. So the tool works for a variety of Bentley products, including OpenPlant Modeler SDK, MicroStation CONNECT Edition SDK, OpenRoads SDK, Building Designer, Bentley Map, and so forth. So, but whatever is referenced in for your assemblies is here. To go to see that, you can go to the Tools, Options, go down to Bentley. You can see a variety of different pages here in the Objects. This has been MicroStation Connect, and you see the OpenPlant Modeler Connect Edition that is set up here, that I set this up for. And then you have the root directory, which we can simply go there just to see it. The MicroStation Connect Edition SDK, which is here. If I'm doing native C++ for MicroStation Connect Edition, this is basically what the Connect Edition or the SDK is for in that case. The MBL apps path, which you should be able to change. Maybe I need to fix this. And that is the MBL apps and so forth. And now in my case, I have a variety of ones I'm testing at all times. If it's not the building designer, Descartes, map, substation, MicroStation Connect Edition, PowerDraft, I cannot test in PowerDraft. The tool works for PowerDraft, but you need a special key from Bentley to be able to develop in PowerDraft. And the Open Bridge Modeler, OpenPlant Modeler, which this is, Open Realm Designer and Open Roads Designer, which basically uses the same SDKs. And MicroStation V8i, if you have that V8i and you have their products, OpenPlant Modeler V8i, plus a variety of different products. Now you will not see what you see here. You will not have in your drop-down box. It'll only be what you have installed on your machine and what you are licensed with Bentley. So in this case, I'm testing in all these apps. This tool. This is basically for native development. And so forth. That's basically in a nutshell. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me, let me know. I'm continuing to update this tool all the time. Like I said, this is a static example of creating a duct and the elbow to that. In most cases, you probably want to do a dynamic creation of that, such as if you want to place. Let's go and create an item here. Let's see. Oh, I'm still on debug. Let me continue. I didn't finish. Okay, now we're finished. So now I can add, say, a WPF, and I do a user control. I could do any one of these. Add that to the key in. Okay, now I got this. I can go ahead and debug it real quickly here. Let's cancel that real quick and let's do this. It's taking a little longer than I thought I wanted to, but I want to show this. I created each one of those in classic Windows and WPF. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, I'm going to bring in the HVAC example again. Go to the key-ins. Now you have a bunch more. So we have the duct example that you already did. We got form 1 here, which is just a Windows form, but it's attached. As you can see, it's attached to MicroStation, and you can also dock it. Now you can change it to be horizontal versus vertical. By default, this particular one is set by for the vertical. Okay. This is a tool setting, as you can see by this here, and it's dockable as well. Just right click and you can change the behavior of that. One of these is a Windows and the other one is WPF. Same here, selection tool, but the ones are the Windows. Forms, I should say. And the 2s are the WPF. I know they use a control. And this is a window WPF, which by default is on the vertical. Okay, that's it, I think. And thank you for watching. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me.